जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन यशोदानंदन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा रस बिहारी राधे जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव मैया सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव मैया सुभद्रा जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रजिकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर स्वामी श्रीपाद गुरु महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रजिकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रजिकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री द्वारका धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गौरमंडल नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा मई यमुना मई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेद भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा। All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatir uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki nigamakalpataror galitam phalam sukamukadamritatrivasamyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Hare Krishna. On behalf of Bhaktivedanta Institute, I welcome you all on this ongoing session of Srimad Bhagavatam. And today we are reading from 7th canto, 3rd chapter, verse 30. Tvam saptatantun vitanoshi tanva traya chaturhotra kavidyaya cha tvam eka atmatmavatamanādir anantapara kavir antaratma tvam saptatantun vitanoshi tanva Traya chaturhotra kavidyaya cha Tvam eka atmatmavatamanādir anantapara kavirantaratma Tvam saptatantun vitanoshi tanva Traya chaturhotra kavidyaya cha Tvam eka atmatmavatamanādir anantapara kavirantaratma. Synonym, word by word translation and purport by His Grace, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tvam, you, saptatantun, the 7 kinds of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, beginning from the Agnistoma Yajna. Vitanosi, spread. Tanva, by your body. Traya, the 3 Vedas. Chatuhotraka, of the 4 kinds of Vedic priests, known as Hota, Advaryu, Brahma and Udgata. Vidyaya, by the necessary knowledge. Cha, also. Tvam, you. Ekaha, 1. Atma, the super soul. Atmavatam, of all living entities. Anadi, without beginning. Anantaparaha, without end. Kavihi, the supreme inspirer. Anta Atma, super soul within the core of the heart. Translation. My dear Lord, by your form as the Vedas personified, and through knowledge relating to the activities of all the Yajnik Brahmanas, You spread the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies of the 7 kinds of sacrifices headed by Agnistoma. Indeed, you inspire the Yajnik Brahmanas to perform the rituals mentioned in the 3 Vedas, being the super soul of all living entities. You are beginningless, endless, and omniscient, beyond the limits of time and space. Purport. The Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, the knowledge thereof, and the person who agrees to perform them are inspired by the super soul, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. From the Lord comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The super soul is situated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya Chaham Ridhi Sannivishta. Also, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Riddeshu Arjuna Tishtati. And when one is advanced in Vedic knowledge, the super soul gives him directions. Acting as super soul, the Lord gives inspiration to a suitable person to perform the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. In this connection, 4 classes of priests known as Ritvik are required. They are mentioned as Hota, Advaryu, Brahma, and Udgata. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Swarupa Damodara Swami Namine Namasad Bhaktamanaye Manipurudbhavaye Cha Prabhupadala Sadvani Pracharaniritayate. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Pachati Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, lot of things are mentioned in this verse. I'll take few of them and we'll discuss on that. Here, Srila Prabhupada introduces 4 types of priests and 7 types of yajnas. So, let's try and understand, because we may not come across these terminologies, these personalities again and again. So, when we get an opportunity, let us try to know what are they. So, there are 4 different classes of priests. Prabhupada says, that is Hota, Advaryu, Brahma, and Udgata. So, these 4 kinds of priests are required for conducting different types of yajnas, and those yajnas are also mentioned as 7 different types. Okay, so in these 4 types of priests who are eligible to perform this yajna, so one of them is mentioned as Advaryu. I was trying to find out what these priests do. So this one priest, Advaryu, basically he sets up the whole place, he measures out the whole structure of the sacrifice and performs sacrificial acts. He prepares the ground of the yajna. You all must have seen, whenever any kind of yajna is performed, homas are performed in our thing, there is a particular way of arranging things. Homakunda, the person who is sitting there, under him also a kind of some kind of a geometrical shape is put, and he will sit over that one. So he prepares the ground of the yajna and constructs its altar. So altar is where the yajna is being conducted, and the platform on which he sits, and offers oblations. So like this, maybe you all can do some research and understand what are these four different kind of priests and what are their jobs, okay, in when they are performing these yajnas. So Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, chapter 13 and verse 38 in his purport, he mentioned that there are 7 kinds of yajnas. So 4 kinds of priests and 7 kinds of yajnas performed by all the followers of the Vedic rituals. And what are they? They are called Agnistoma, starting with Agnistoma, Atyagnistoma, Ukta, Sodasi, Vajapeya, Atiratra, Aptoryama. These are the 7 kinds of Vedic rituals or the yajnas that is performed. So anyone performing such yajnas regularly is supposed to be situated with the Lord. People who are performing this kind of yajnas, they are always supposed to be situated with the Lord. But anyone who is in contact with the Supreme Lord by discharging devotional service is understood to have performed all different varieties of yajnas. So in this Kali Yuga, whether we will be able to perform this kind of yajnas, whether the people who are performing the yajnas will fall under these 4 categories, that's a question because of the influence of Kali. However, we have a greatest concession in this Kali Yuga that anyone who performs devotional service to the Supreme Lord is understood to have performed all these sacrifices. That's what Prabhupada writes in the purport. In that purport of 3rd canto and 13th chapter, verse 38. Now we will discuss on the purport of this particular verse. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, the knowledge thereof, and the person who agrees to perform them are inspired by the Supreme Soul. The process, okay, the process is based on something, right? So there is knowledge. So based on the knowledge is nothing but Vedas, and based on that knowledge you have certain processes to be performed, and also the person who is performing. So here Prabhupada writes, so all these are inspired by the Supreme Soul, who is the partial representation of the Supreme Lord. So this we cannot say exactly partial representation of Supreme Lord. This is where our Achintya Veda Veda Tattva comes into picture, that is simultaneously is partial and it's full also. Okay. So inconceivably. So Prabhupada writes, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha, from the Lord comes remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. So this knowledge to perform this yajnas also is revealed or comes as an inspiration for those people who are eligible to perform this yajnas, such yajnas. So Prabhupada also writes in the purport, the super soul is situated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishta And also in Bhagavad Gita, another shloka, it is mentioned that Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshu Arjuna Tishtati. And when one is advanced in Vedic knowledge, very important, when one is advanced in the Vedic knowledge, then the super soul gives him directions. So the super soul or the Paramatma is called as Anumanta Upadrishta. Anumanta means Anumati Denewala, the one who gives sanctions, whatever you want to do. So because he sanctions and doesn't question your free will, you should be very careful. I should be very careful in what I am desiring, what I am asking for. He is Anumanta. He will sanction whatever you want. At the same time, he is Upadrishta. He is a witness also for whatever you are doing, and to ensure that you get in return for what you did. What you sow, so shall you reap. So, for that, he is the witness. Most of the time, all the time, we think that nobody is watching us, we can do anything, but we all should know that the Supreme Lord, situated in our heart as Paramatma, is always watching us and also sanctioning what we desire. So acting as super soul, the Lord gives inspiration. So it is not, we need not have to always think that the Lord is waiting for us to do the bad things and then punish us. No, the Lord is very, very merciful. The Supreme Lord is very, very merciful. That is why he moves around with this stupid body, with my stupid activities. He's always there, moving with us. He's always there in the heart of cockroach also. In a Kida, the worms, how merciful he is. So he is the most merciful. Why he is merciful? In this world, for us, it is to reclaim all of us. The Supreme Lord is transcendently anchoring, crying, transcendently crying, to reclaim the Pichdawa, all of us who left the Lord because of our little bit of exercising, a little bit of freedom, free will. So, he wants to take us back. So, he is always thinking how to get this living entity back to me, near me. So, seeing this Lord transcendently suffering or crying, the close associates of the Lord, they cannot see the Lord in this situation. So they take up the job of reclaiming these souls. So, starting from Radharani, all the Guru Parampara, the spiritual masters, they all take this job of ensuring that the Lord is always blissful. They go to any extent of suffering. Marobi Rakobi Jo Icha Tumara. It's your wish. Okay. The pure devotee is saying like this. So they are ready to take any kind of pain to give pleasure to Krishna. And that is why, that is why the whole parampara. So here we know why this story is coming. Hiranyakashipu, after getting rejuvenated body, he thinks Brahma is everything and starts glorifying. He starts glorifying Brahma like this, all these things. But the source of all these qualities of Brahma, the features of Brahma or whatever it is, it comes from the Supreme Lord. Tene Brahma Adikavaye Janmadhyashyayatah Anvayat Swarat Abhijñā Swarat. So, such a Supreme Lord, who is the inspirer, Prabhupada uses this word inspirer, who gives inspiration. So this inspiration can be taken to any extent. In science, the scientist gets inspired to come out with the discoveries. Through inspiration. Most of the discoveries happens through inspiration. But they do not know that inspiration comes from the Supreme Lord. Some of them, the fortunate ones, acknowledges that yes, there is some force beyond us. So this inspiration comes from the Supreme Lord, who is situated in each and every one of our heart. Okay. So Prabhupada quotes this Bhagavad Gita shloka, Sarvasya chaham Hridi sannivisto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha Vedaisa sarver aham yeva vedyo Vedanta krit Vedanta vit eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. So this knowledge to perform this yajna, whatever yajnas, the 7 different kinds of yajnas, that comes from the Supreme Lord, by the inspiration of the Supreme Lord. Okay. So originally who got inspired? If to our knowledge it is Brahmaji who got inspired. He was the first personality who got this inspiration. Tene Brahma Adi Kavaye. Kavi, inspirer, Prabhupada writes. So he inspires him to do tapa. Then while doing tapa, he gets the knowledge what to do next. So this is applicable to all of us. So we have to perform those activities, those austerities. For us, luckily, in this Kali Yuga, the whole thing is bundled and packaged and given in a small, very little, but it is like, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadriti Tavakrita Bhagavan Mamapi. So this, the whole potency of performing yajnas, all those great yajnas is put in this holy name and given to us in this Kali Yuga. All we need to do is just chant this holy name of the Lord, and it will have. And by chanting, we will become eligible to start serving the Supreme Lord, carrying out the devotion service, eligible to do bhakti. So then, once we start engaging ourselves in the devotion service, then it is as good as, Prabhupada writes, as good as performing all these yajnas. We don't need to go take that long route. This is the shortcut that is given to us, because That's all we can do, if at all we can, and we should. So, in this purport of this sloka, Sarvachya Chaham Hridhi Sannivisto, Prabhupada writes, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am known to be known. I am to be known. So, this shloka is there in Bhagavatam. Vasudeva Paraveda Vasudeva Paramaka Vasudeva Parayoga Vasudeva Parakriya Vasudeva Param Jnanam Vasudeva Param Tapaha Vasudeva Paro Dharma Vasudeva Paragatihi Vasudeva Paragatihi Vasudeva Paragatihi. So the ultimate object of knowledge is to know Vasudeva. And whatever yajna, tapa, dana, all that we do, kriya, karma, whatever we do, everything should be done. The ultimate object of worship should be Vasudeva. Because he is the ultimate abode. So, when we do this, then there is a purpose of all this knowledge or the yajnas. So once we come to this understanding, the Lord within our heart will inspire us to understand more and more and more about the process that we had chosen. And ultimately, see, it starts with Vasudeva, ends with Vasudeva. For us, it starts with chanting, ends with chanting. Okay? The means and end for us is devotional service. Okay. So, the Supreme Lord situated in as Paramatma in everyone's heart, and it is from him all activities are initiated. The living entity forgets everything of his past life. That is the mercy of the Lord. We are talking about why he gives us remembrance, why he gives us forgetfulness. We can imagine if we don't forget our past, what will be our situation? We have to go to that situation to know that. Otherwise, from here we cannot tell. If I was a king in the past life, I'll be so sad now. Oh, in the past life I was a king. And now you see I am like a beggar. Imagine if in the past life I was an animal. Then also we are not happy. We don't want to accept that I was an animal. So there is a problem. Right? So that's why the Lord, gives you the forgetfulness to forget about our past life. But he never forgets. That's what he says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Arjuna, we have been together many, many lifetimes. You have forgotten, but I have not forgotten. Because he is accompanying that soul which passes through many bodies. Okay. So, the living entity forgets everything of his past life, but he has to act according to the direction of the Supreme Lord. who is the witness to all his work. Therefore, he begins his work according to his past deeds. And for that, the knowledge is required, and that knowledge is supplied by the Supreme Lord. And the remembrance is given to him, and he forgets about his past life. So, the Lord is not only all-pervading as the Supreme Brahman, he is also localized in every individual's heart as Paramatma. And thus he awards the different fruitive results. Fruitive results comes based on our karma. So, therefore, the Lord is not only worshipable as Supreme Brahman, and not only as localized Paramatma, and not only as Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prabhupada writes, but also as a form of the incarnation of Vedas as well. That is what is written in the purport. Okay. The Lord, Supreme Lord, is the incarnation of the Vedas. Okay. Why do we need the Vedas? Because Vedas give right direction to people so that they can properly mold their lives to come back to Godhead. Ultimate purpose is that only. The Lord wants to reclaim all of us. So he has given different processes by which we can go back to him. So the Vedas they become the manuals for us to get the right direction, so that even though we engage ourselves in Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, the ultimate goal will be the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And that is what should be or is the aim of the Vedas. Okay. So the Vedas offer knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And Krishna, in his incarnation as Vyasadeva, he compiled Vedanta Sutra, and he also gave a commentation for this Vedanta Sutra, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is what we are discussing today. So, the Supreme Lord is so full. He is full in everything, 100% in everything. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasya, Shriya, Jnana, Vairagya. The 6 appliances are there in full with the Lord. Okay. So the Supreme Lord is so full that the deliverance of the conditioned soul, for the deliverance of the conditioned soul, he supplies all the ingredients that is required. Okay. And also he moves around with him, witnessing all his activities, and wherever required, he becomes the knowledge giver. Okay. So that knowledge can externally be in the form of Vedas, internally through inspiration, intuition. Okay. So this is the reason why we should worship the Supreme Lord, because he is the only well-wisher of the living entities. Okay. But all the living entity, what happens? They forget everything once they quit a body or the present body, and again he starts working again. Okay. And although he forgets this thing, the Lord gives intelligence to those who are eligible, okay, to start from where they left in the past. So that's the beauty of our bhakti, that bhakti, all the fruits of the bhakti that we perform in each and every life gets carried forward. It doesn't go. All other material activities gets vanished. But the results of the bhakti gets added to our account. So once it is sufficient enough, then we further become eligible to perform the devotion service. So there are different stages. We will not go into the details. So the living entity does not only enjoy or suffer in this material world according to the dictation of the Supreme Lord situated locally in his heart, but he also receives an opportunity. Again, eligible people receives an opportunity to understand Vedas from him directly. Pratyakshaavagamam susukam kartum avyayam. Direct inspiration comes from the Supreme Lord. If one is serious about understanding this particular Vedic knowledge, because here it is spoken about yajnas, the knowledge that comes from Vedas, it's being discussed. If one is serious about understanding the Vedic knowledge, then Krishna gives the intelligence for the same. So why he gives this Vedic knowledge for understanding? Because the living entity individually, they need to understand Krishna. So that is why in all Vedic literature, starting from 4 Vedas, Vedanta Sutra, Upanishads and Puranas, it is only nothing but, the ultimate is nothing but the glorification of the Supreme Lord. This is the Supreme Lord is always, at the end, he is only celebrated. So, by performance of the Vedic rituals, discussions of the Vedic philosophy and worship of the Lord in devotion service is attained. The ultimate is devotion service. Everything should lead to devotion service. Okay? Bhaktyamam abhijanati. You can understand me as I am through bhakti only, the Lord says. So, everything should ultimately lead to devotion service. Therefore, the purpose of Vedas is to understand Krishna. Vasudeva Paraveda. So, the Vedas give the direction by which we can understand Krishna and how to realize him. Okay. So, one can attain perfection in 3 stages. How? One is by understanding Vedic literature, as one can understand his relationship with the Supreme Lord through, the Vedic literature in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. For us, this is the main thing. Okay. For us, Bhagavad Gita tells us who are we, who is God, what is our relationship with God, how we have to interact with God, what are our activities, what is time, Ishvara, Jiva, Kala, Karma, and one more thing, 5 aspects, Prakriti. So Bhagavad Gita talks about all these things. These are all required for our interaction with the Supreme Lord. When the Jiva interacts with the material nature, it is karma. When the same Jiva interacts with the Supreme Lord, it is bhakti. For this Jiva to interact with the material nature under the influence of time, that is karma. So, by performing different processes, one can approach him And the process that is given in this Kali Yuga for all of us is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, thank you very much. I stop here. If you all have any questions or queries or comments, you're most welcome. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you for this nice and wonderful class. Yeah, if anyone is having any question regarding today's class, they can raise the hand and ask His Grace Mother Krishna Prabhuji. Before that, we are having an announcement. So tomorrow we won't be having our regular class. So let me share. Okay. So tomorrow we are celebrating our Sripad Maharaj Tirobha festival. So instead of our regular program, we request all the people, all the devotees to join this. It will be live on Zoom. So yeah, the Zoom ID and password we will be sending in the WhatsApp group. If anyone is interested, they can note it down. It is 876-7645-5105. Passcode Radhakunda. So you can see the schedule here. The program starts from 4:30 in the morning. Yes, so please make a note of this change and please join tomorrow's program online.
Shravan Prabhu, sorry to interrupt. I think we are going to start at 4:15 because the Mangalarti of Shripada will be at 4:15 and 4:30 will be the Mangalarti of Gopalji Mandir. So we'll make a small correction. Maybe in the daytime, we will circulate in all the groups also. Everybody has to join by 4:15, Prabhu.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, so please try to join by 4:15 a.m. Yes, yeah. Going ahead with our regular program. Yeah, if anyone is having any question, they can raise the hand and ask His Grace Mother Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji, it seems there are no questions. So if anything is there to add or say something, please. And
it's okay, Prabhu.
Okay, our Govind Maharaj is having something to say. Yes, Maharaj, please.
You can add it. Yeah.
Somebody has to ask question, correct?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavad Pranam. All goes to Guru Maharaj.
So I have to create some question. In the meantime.
हरे कृष्णा नीलाम्बर महाराज जी, आपका आवाज ठीक से नहीं आ रहा है. आप सिग्नल चेक करना पड़ेगा. कल आप अच्छा सिग्नल का जगह बैठना पड़ेगा.
Exactly.
हाँ महाराज जी, कहिए.
हरे कृष्णा. So प्रभुजी, ये जो हिरण्यकशिपु praying to Lord Brahma with lot of worshipful mood. So although he's showing so much worshipable mood, Pujyata, but his ulterior motive is to become blessed. to become blessed as powerful as Brahma or even replace Brahma, or become immortal. So he's worshipping, showing tremendous worship, but he's not attached to Brahma. He's not. He wants from Brahma. He doesn't want Brahma actually. Got the point?
Yes, Maharaj.
He's wanting from Brahma something to fulfill his ulterior motive. He doesn't want actually Brahma. He's not showing his attachment to Brahma. And because if there was attachment for Brahma, he would be associating with a pure devotee. Brahma is a pure devotee, correct? Mahajana. So that benefit, and he would have become a pure devotee himself, because he's appreciating Brahma is very powerful and everything, but appreciating only to fulfill his ulterior motive. He's not attaching himself to Brahma to associate with him, and because of due to lacking that, he is not attaining the supreme destination of mercy. So that is what we find, that although his worshipping of Brahma is bona fide, but because he does not qualify to worship the Supreme, like other day Srikant Prabhu mentioned, yajantiya vidhi purvakam, correct? Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita tepi mameva konteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. So this is how his worship of Brahma becomes avidhi purvakam. Because it does not fulfill, doesn't take him to the supreme destination. Krishna acknowledges that the worship of demigods is actually my worship only, but it is avidhi purvakam. Why it is avidhi purvakam? Because the purpose of whatever worship or the things are offered to devatas, demigods, it reaches Krishna. Because Krishna says, aham hi sarva yajnanam bhukta cha prabhu revacha. This point is very, very important. Krishna alone is the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhukta cha prabhu revacha. So the worship reaches Krishna, but the worshipper, where does he go? The worshipper goes only where he intends to go or qualifies to go. You see the point? Although the worship reaches Krishna because he is the only bhakta of all the sacrifices, all the worships. जो भी नैवेद्य है ना, नैवेद्य, फल, fruit, whatever is they offer to even devatas, because Krishna is the only enjoyer. So it reaches. There is a famous sloka in our Vedic literature. They say, you must have heard this. Yatha, Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarva deva namaskaram keshavam prati gacchati. Literally it means just as the water pouring from the sky from falls at different places, correct? And it eventually goes to Sagar.
Sagar, yeah.
Akashat patitam toyam. From the different places, but it reaches the ocean. So in the same way, from the mountain, when the water pours, becomes a river, goes to different avenues and places, and different ghat, different bathing places or worshipper places. You know, the river has many places, different. So the worship in the form of water reaches the ocean. but where does the worshipper goes? That's the important point. So although his worship, every worshipper's worship or naivedya offering reaches the ocean or Krishna, but what happens to the worshipper? The worshipper does not benefit. And that's why Krishna is compared to the ocean. So the Vedic worships, they are like rituals like clouds. The various types of processes of worship is compared to the water. The worshippers to the mountain, because from the mountains the river, the flow of water goes to the ocean. But what happens to the mountain? So the worshipper does not attain the supreme destination. His worship may reach, and that's why it becomes avidhipurvakam. It does not reach the ultimate purpose of worship, because they don't acknowledge Krishna as such. But my question is regarding you brought this point about the sacrifices. What the purpose of these four kinds of priests you described? So four kinds of priests to take care of the Vedic Chaturhotra, what they call. The Vedas describe this Chaturhotra, four kinds of sacrifices. But even but in Kali Yuga, any kind of Vedic sacrifice, they are people are so unqualified. But still, Vyasadeva thinking that dividing the Vedas into four sections, and so that so even dividing the Vedas into four sections, eventually in the present age, this ritualistic performance regards how much they help. What is the purpose of performing this different kinds of Chaturhotra?
Is the question, Maharaj?
Yeah, if the people are so degraded, if the people are so much unqualified.
So that is the reason, Maharaj, that for this Kali Yuga, Yajnai Sankirtanai Prayar Yajanti Sumedashaha. So the intelligent people take up to this process of this Yajna, Sankirtan Yajna, as prescribed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which definitely, there is no other purpose. Whereas the purpose of other yajnas may be different, like it may be directed towards other demigods. But this Sankirtan Yajna is directly, engaging us in serving the Supreme Lord. So that is why for Kali Yuga, I think this particular yajna is prescribed. And this, as per our Vasudeva Paraveda shloka, if you see, whatever we do, ultimately that object should be the Supreme Lord, otherwise it has no meaning, no purpose. So that is why I quoted that Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, 28 and 29. So yes, ma'am.
If you look into first canto, fourth chapter, 19th shloka, there you find some reference about this. Can you quote for the benefit of everybody?
I'll just get it.
1:4:19.
1:4:19.
So those who somehow want to take participation in performing yagas, it is very purifying for them. It holds them on the religiosity path. People, as a human being, very much inclined for dharma, and so this Chaturhoga yagyas involve them into religiosity as a purification. Although they may not be qualified for jnana or yoga or even bhakti, pure devotional service, but this performance of yagyas, they provide a lot of purification. That was the main reason that Vyasadeva somehow to involve people. But even when involving people, the Vedas are so vast. For one Brahmin, it would be difficult to perform all the 4 kinds of yajnas. For one Brahmin to become qualified in all kinds of Chaturhotra would be difficult. So he divided so that 4 different Brahmanas can perform different kinds of Chaturhotra, which you mentioned,
So this is a shloka, Maharaj.
Yes.
Chaturhotram karma shuddham prajanam vikshya vaidikam.
Yes.
Vedat yajna santatyai vedam ekam chaturvidam. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which people's occupations could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. Maharaj, I have a question here. Here we heard always 4 Vedas, but in our today's shloka, Prabhupada talks about only 3 Vedas.
No, 4 Vedas. Because originally the one Veda was Yajur, by the name Yajur. Then 3 more extensions, so become 4 now. One Veda was known as Yajur. Prabhupada writes in the purport. So basically, I think the division of the 4 Vedas, it's for the performer, means for the Brahmanas, because the Brahmanas wouldn't be so qualified to master the Chaturhotra.
Okay.
And that's why, to facilitate the performance of yagyas, 4 different kind of Brahmins, for to find one Brahmin to be expert in all 4 would be difficult, would be very difficult. And that's why 4 sections of the Vedas and 4 different Brahmanas can be 4 different experts in different sections. So that way the yagyas can be performed instead of by one Brahman, by 4 Brahmins mastering in different sections. Because if all Chaturhotra not performed, then the yagya would not be complete. That's why due to the course of time, because qualified Brahmanas won't be available, so he just minimized the burden on one Brahman.
Okay. Now, Prabhupada, the translation, he writes that indeed you inspired the Yajnik Brahmanas to perform the rituals mentioned in the 3 Vedas. So I was wondering I thought I'll ask this question to you.
Yeah, see, if you see the 4 kinds of Hota, Advaryu, Udgat and Brahma, correct? So they are specifically connecting to 4 Vedas.
Okay.
Your Prabhupada is Ritvik. So there are 4 kinds of Ritviks. So those who are Rit Vedagya, those who are knowledgeable in Rig Veda, they are called Hota. And those who are Sam Vedagya, those who are knowledgeable in Sam Veda, they are called Udgata.
Okay.
And those who are expert in Yajur Veda, they are called Advaryu. And the Atharva Vedagya, they are called Brahma. So, so this division makes it 4. Na? That way, because the performance of yajna is very, very essential. Even in Kali Yuga, because it involves people in religiosity, and eventually when the pure devotee comes in the picture in one's life, then one can offset the whatever shortcomings of this religiosity by pure devotional process, sankirtan. It's not possible to directly give somebody the process of pure devotional service oftentimes. But when people, maybe in the Vedic culture in India, people have to go through this religiosity circle. But Kali Yuga is so rampant that Srila Prabhupada just bypassed all these formalities and gave directly the Harinam Sankirtan. So that is a special mercy of Mahaprabhu and his agents. That they didn't have to become entangled first with the religiosity and this different performance of yajnas. They were directly shown mercy through the Sankirtan. So every latest version has something best to offer. So Mahaprabhu is the latest version, God's manifestation, correct?
Yes, sir.
So Mahaprabhu includes the benefits of the previous versions, whatever Krishna wanted to give, whatever previous, and something exclusively special. So the emphasis on Nam Sankirtan. One doesn't have to go through this, involve into the necessity of so many yajnas like that. So shortcut, Mahaprabhu gave the shortest and surest cut to success.
Yes, Maharaj.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So, but we
regarding-
don't, Sanatana Goswami, we didn't get the, you already sent on WhatsApp the list and schedule.
Yes,
Bhagavatam
Maharaj, it
BI?
was there earlier. Today also I will send once again.
Is it on Bhagavatam BI? Bhagavatam.bi?
Yes, Maharaj.
I'm seeing, I see a lot of pictures of people. Oh, Dr. T.D. Singh's book, speaker Mohanta, Dr. Hari Krishna Mohanta. Before that or after that?
Before that it was there. Anyway, as soon as the class is finished, I will send once again.
Okay, that's wonderful.
So our Madan Manohar Prabhu clarifies on these 3 Vedas. He says that Atharva Veda was split into Yajur and Sama. So that's what he says.
Atharva Veda was?
Hmm?
What he says? What Prabhu says?
He says Atharva Veda was split into Yajur and Sama Veda. So otherwise it is Rig Veda, Yajur Veda and Atharva Veda. And Atharva Veda was no.
No,
See,
Prabhuji.
read the purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna. No,
Actually, Maharaj said it was Yajur Veda at first, but it was Atharva Veda, and this Atharva Veda later on was compiled into Yajur, Sama, and Rig, all the 3. So that's why, Traigunya, it although talks about the 3 modes, there are basically Prabhupada used to say these 3
Okay.
Vedas.
Traigunya Vishaya
Could you
Veda.
read the
Okay.
purport? Could you read the purport, Prabhu? 1419. Read the purport.
The purport says, the translation he writes, in the translation, indeed you inspired the Yajnik Brahmanas to perform the rituals mentioned in the 3 Vedas.
I'm telling you 1419.
1419. Okay. Formerly there was only the Veda of name Yajur, and the 4 divisions of sacrifices were there specifically mentioned. But to make them more easily performable, the Veda was divided into 4 divisions of sacrifice just to purify the occupational service of the 4 orders. Okay. Above the 4 Vedas, namely Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharva, there are
Okay.
the Puranas, the Mahabharata, Samhitas, etc.
Basically, formally there was only one Veda of the name Yajur. That is very clearly Prabhupada is quoting. Then divided.
Okay, divided. And one maintained its original name also, Yajur. Okay. Okay.
No, because I remember reading somewhere that Atharva Veda was the first one. Does this change again and again, or let me find that quote, Maharaj, somewhere where I remember that this Atharva Veda was there, and then it was divided like that.
Okay, it's not Yajur Veda.
No, I mean, does it change like that in different, like Kalpas or something like that, or different Puranas, they give different versions?
I do not know.
Okay, let me just find out that.
Yes. I know, because it was very striking why Prabhupada specifically mentioned 3 Vedas.
Veda, yeah.
But does it got any connection with the Traigunya Vishaya Veda?
No, that is the 3 gunas actually. That is a different thing. But you mentioned, so I was just thinking. I just said 3 gunas means like the 3 gunas, we have 3 Vedas like that, for people dealing with the thing like that. I just made that comparison.
Okay.
But it's not like that. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Trividya, the Trividya, then there is another section, Bhagavatam. Traya Chopanishad Bhishya, Sankhya Yogesha Sadhu. Traya Chop, so mentioning because karma Gyan and Bhakti, Karma Gyan Yoga. These 3 sections specifically mentioned.
Okay, Sanatan Prabhu, there are no questions. Sanatan Prabhu? So I think we are not able to reach Sanatan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, we can conclude.
Prabhu.
Yes, Maharaj.
What is the sloka Trividya?
Maharaj?
No, that is about the gunas, Maharaj.
No, Trividya. I'm talking about Trividya.
Oh,
read the
Trividya, Somapa, something comes
yes,
like that.
Yes.
I don't know. I'll have to search, Maharaj.
Trividya.
Next class is yours. You cover this, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we conclude with the permission of Maharaj?
Yeah, it's a 920. Trividya mam somapa puta papa yagir istva swargatim partayante te punyam asadya surendra lokam ashnanti divyan divi deva bhoga. To the karma kanda portions of the Vedas, Trividya.
Okay.
30 words to the karma kanda portion of the Vedas. So Trividya, 30 work, to the karma kanda. That can be explained later, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhuji. Rundra Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Hari Bol. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Mother Krishna Prabhu ki jai. Thank you all for joining. See you all in tomorrow's celebration. So please note the change in meeting ID for tomorrow.
3 Vedas, Rig, Yajur and Sam. Atharva is kept out.